So just got word in the comment section on the last video that I did where I tested the M12 up against the new M18 fuel vacuum. Some people were saying that this thing has thermo overheating problems, where the batteries are overheating and the vacuum's shutting down. And sure enough, if you go onto the Home Depot website, you can see a number of reviewers saying that they're having problems with this thing shutting down. One guy said that this thing will shut down in a matter of 15 seconds on some occasions. So if you're thinking of getting one of these new M12 fuel vacuums, sit tight. We'll figure out this thermal overload situation with 3 tests. I've designed 3 tests that will put this thing right to the brink. We'll get it to thermally overload. We'll test it out with a 6 amp and a 2 amp battery just to see if that makes a difference as well. So the first test that we're gonna do here, we'll restrict all the airflow into the vacuum. We'll put in a fully charged 6 amp, then a fully charged 2 amp battery. We'll turn the vacuum on high and we'll see if it'll overheat. So with that test, I shut off both the batteries after 6 minutes. I could definitely tell that the motor was heating up quite a bit just because when I put my finger in the exhaust, it was getting quite hot. Now the batteries did not thermally overheat and the vacuums didn't show any signs of slowing down. So the next test we'll do here, we'll put on the crevice tool, we'll restrict half of the airflow in there, we'll fully charge the batteries, the 6 amp and the 2 amp, we'll pop them in, we'll turn it on high, and we'll see what happens. So with that test, neither one of the batteries thermally overheated. The 2 amp battery lasted 4 minutes and 48 seconds, so about 224 per amp hour, which is right around what Milwaukee claims. With the 6 amp battery, this thing ran for over 15 minutes on high, so that beats the 14 minutes that Milwaukee's claiming. Again, the motor's probably not working as hard when you restrict the airflow. So the final test here, we'll run this thing wide open with fully charged batteries, and this will put maximum strain on the system. Now, I would have thought that reducing the airflow would have put more strain on the system, but as I learned through these tests, when the thing runs wide open, that's when it's working the hardest. So with the 2 amp battery running wide open on high, this thing thermally overloaded at 3 minutes and 25 seconds. The little thing got flashing on the top. So then what I did is I had another 2 amp battery fully charged and I wanted to see if the vacuum would still work fine after that. So I threw that battery in right away, ran that thing on high, and that battery thermally overheated at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Which is kind of more in line with what Milwaukee claims the batteries can do in this machine. Yeah, so with the 6 amp battery, I was pretty interested to see what was gonna happen running this thing wide open. Would it thermally overheat after 4 or 5 minutes? So I popped it in there. Now, full disclosure, the battery wasn't quite fully charged just because I was getting a little impatient. It had 4 bars, so it was pretty good. Now, the battery did not overheat. It ran about just over 10 minutes and then it ran out of juice and the vacuum shut down. There was no thermal overload code, so that was good. The bottom line is, if you're gonna run this thing with a 2 amp battery, you're probably gonna get about 3 to 4 minutes of continuous wide open use before the battery would overheat. I definitely probably would never run this off of a 2 amp battery. So with the 6 amp battery, you're gonna get at least 10 plus minutes of continuous wide open use without any overheating issues. And if you do have any kind of a thermal overload situation, definitely take the vacuum back. I think you've got a bad vacuum, or perhaps your batteries are shot. And hey, if you want to see how this little M12 stacks up to the new M18 fuel vacuum, check out this video right here. You'll be pretty amazed at how this little guy compares to Big Brother. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.